Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Carlos, and in this series, we break down networking using real Cisco gear, step by step, in a way that actually makes sense. In episode 1, we set up our switch properly, secured it, and laid the foundation. Now, it's time to start creating VLANs, or virtual LANs, to segment our network. Think of VLANs like neighborhoods in a city. Each neighborhood has its own houses and streets, but they're all part of the same city. VLANs let us separate network traffic while keeping it on the same switch. Remember, networking isn't about memorizing commands, it is about understanding why you're typing them. Once you understand the why, everything starts making sense. So pause, rewind if you need to, and follow along at your own pace. Let's jump in and build our first VLANs. Just like episode 1, we start by stepping into privilege mode. Think of this as entering the control room. When you first connect to a Cisco switch, you are in a limited mode, like being a guest in a building. You can look around, but you can't make changes. By typing enable, we get full access to configure the device. A lot of people skip understanding modes, and that's where confusion starts. Cisco devices use different modes to protect the network from accidental changes. You are only allowed to make serious changes when you've intentionally stepped into the right mode. This is where all permanent changes happen. Just like stepping into the planning office, anything we do here affects the switch long term. We're creating VLANs 10 for sales and VLAN 20 for marketing. Each VLAN is its own separate broadcast domain, meaning devices in one VLAN won't see traffic from another unless we configure routing. Think of this like making separate neighborhoods in a city. People in cells don't wander into marketing's traffic. Naming VLANs isn't required, but it prevents confusion, especially in large networks with dozens of VLANs. It's like labeling folders on your computer. It saves time and headaches later. We assign ports to VLAN so devices plugged into those ports belong to the correct VLAN. Descriptions are like street signs. They help us remember where each device belongs. Small details like this saves you time later and prevents mistakes. This shows which VLANs exist and which ports belong to them. Notice the status column. If it says active, the VLAN is working. If it says suspend, It means there's a mismatch or the VLAN isn't allowed on a trunk yet. Verification is a core skill. Never assume things work just because you type the commands. By default, all ports starts in VLAN 1. If you forget to assign them to VLAN 10 or 20, everything stays in VLAN 1. That's like leaving all employees in one open office. Chaos. Never forget this step. If we don't save, all the VLANs we created will disappear after a reboot. I can't tell you how many times beginners lose hours of work because they forget this. VLANs are a perfect example of networking mirroring real life. You can create boundaries, organize groups, and control traffic, just like organizing teams or departments. Take your time, understand why each step matters, and build good habits early. If this video helped you, hit that like button. It really supports the channel. Subscribe for more hands-on Cisco labs and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss the next episode. In the next video, we'll explore trunking and how VLANs communicate between switches, building on the setup from episode 1 and 2. I'll see you in the next one.